So I picked up a new eyeshadow palette by Charlotte Tilbury, and that is the Pillow Talk Dreams Luxe palette by Charlotte Tilbury, and this is a nice rosy one. So let's get into the review. Let's do a eye look with this palette. I'm gonna do some swatches so you guys can see what you think about it. Anyways, let's get started. Let's get into the video. This palette, the packaging is really beautiful. It comes into this nice light pink, and on the front you have the actual shades that's going to be inside the palette. This palette on the back, it tells you the prime, the enhance, the pop, and smoke. You have all of the information here on how to apply it, and this is made in Italy. So here is a close-up. It has 6 grams, which is 0.21 ounces. When you open it up, the front is exactly like my other ones. There you go. So very similar. However, in the back is the only one that's kind of different. So here is the new palette right here, and then you can see in here we have the green lights and the chic palette. This palette retails for $66 Canadian, and that's 53 US, and it is beautiful. Look at this shades. Aren't they gorgeous? Now, I never liked pinky rose shades on me, but when I saw this palette, I felt like all 4 shades are very wearable on a day-to-day basis. You can create a nice night look, going out look with this palette. You can create a very simple no makeup look with this palette. So I know it's $66, it's expensive, but I think that out of all the palettes that I have by her from Charlotte Tilbury, I think that this palette is probably the most palette that you can use on a daily basis, and you can use all shades. So I'm going to show you what I mean here. Now here is the green lights palette. What is it called? Yeah, green lights. And here is the rock chic palette. So they're pretty wearable as well. So this is if you like more greens, but you can see that there's all sparkly shades in this one. There's no matte. In this one, I think we have 2 mattes, 1 satin, and then the shimmery one. This is also very wearable as well, but it's more of a cool tone, so that's why I picked this one up as well. And then here we have the 2 mattes and the 2 shimmers. So we have a pearlescent rose right here. Then we have a matte dusty rose right there, a matte berry brown, and then we have the shimmering rosebud. Now let's see what we think of this palette in terms of swatches. So I'm gonna do swatches so you guys can see, and then we're gonna put it on the eyes. So I'm gonna do the 2 shimmers from top to bottom, and then the 2 mattes. Very beautiful. Here is the palette swatched. We have the nice pearlescent rose, the shimmering rosebud, matte dusty rose, and the matte berry brown. They are so pretty. They swatched so nice and easy, including the mattes. They're not powdery. And let's put this on the eye. Okay, so the way I'm gonna use it, I'm gonna go with a BK Beauty 212 brush, and I'm gonna go into this shade right here. It picked up really nicely on the brush. Make sure that your eyelids are not creasing. So for anything, the rest of what I have on my face, I'm going to list everything down below in case you're wondering, including the lips and complexion. So let's apply this in the actual crease and above. So I'm going to use this kind of as a transition color. This is very pigmented, and it actually blends very smoothly, and there's no fallout, and I don't see any patchiness. Look how nice that blended and just melted into your skin. So this is a matte formula. That is a very nice dusty rose. So you can see upon application, it is very pigmented and how easily it just blends out. This first shade works wonderful. Now I'm gonna go into the bottom shade, which is the dusty brown shade. And I'm gonna use a BK Beauty 206 brush, which is flat, more flat, but still pretty dense. And I'm just gonna put this in the outer corner and bring it into the crease. Then I'm gonna go into my first brush and smoke it outwards. Very easy to work with, absolutely no problems. Even if you go in heavy-handed with the color, it just blends out very nicely with no patchiness. And this is a darker shade, so you would expect it to be patchy or harder to blend, but absolutely no issues. Very nice, and it doesn't look muddy. The formula is buildable, so let's intensify the outer corner to see how much buildable it is. So you can see how much you can intensify it and smoke out your eye look. So here's the build up formula, and here is with the one layer. Okay, so now let's go into this very shimmery shade right here, which is a shimmering rosebud. You can see the product on the finger more than the other one. So this is the dark one, and on the other one we have the light one. So you can see that the light one is a little bit more smooth, so be careful with this one. Let's see if there's any fallout. So I'm just gonna put it in the middle of my eye towards that darker shade, and then with the light one I'm gonna go towards the inner corner of my eye. So pigmented, like I'm not even dragging this on my eye, I'm just touching my eye, and look how nice it transfers to the eye. Oh, that's very pretty. It does look a little bit more champagne-y here, but when it transfers to the eye, it looks a little bit more pigmented, which I really love. Oh, I love this type of rosy colors. Okay, so I'm gonna go into that first shade right here and just add this a little bit up here because we kind of lost it. Or maybe I never brought it up high. Okay, so for the bottom lash line, I'm gonna go with this shade underneath the whole lash line, and I'm gonna use a BK Beauty 204 brush. So I'm gonna go with the lightest matte shade and try to add it very close to the lash line, all the way to the inner corner. That looks very nice. So you guys can leave the eye as is, or you can just intensify the lower lash line a bit. So now I'm gonna go into the darker shade, the darker matte. So if you guys hear any snoring, that's Kona right here snoring. She's so funny. Okay, so I'm gonna add that darker shade with the same brush underneath the lash line, but I'm gonna stop halfway. Just intensify it in the outer corner here only. So now I'm gonna go into a BK Beauty 207 brush and just blend it underneath here. Okay, so let me add some mascara and I'll be right back with final thoughts, and we'll let you know if it's worth it or not. So here is a close-up of the eyes. What do you guys think? I think it's just perfection. So for mascara, I've used my Merit mascara on the bottom lashes and my Clinique High Impact Curling Mascara on the top. Now, let me give you my thoughts on this palette here. First of all, the packaging is just beautiful. Very easy, very compact, easy to travel with in case you have not used a Charlotte Tilbury palette quad like this. This is what it looks like. Very luxe looking and feeling, and it is. And I just love the color story. The color story is just beautiful. So you can create very simple day-to-day looks going into evening looks, or very no makeup look. You can create anything you want with this quad. Don't be afraid to just use the one shade. I love that you have a transition shade. I love that you have a smoky shade. I love that you have a inner corner brightening shade, and of course this nice darker rosy shimmer. I think that this palette is just probably my favorite palette out of the ones that I own, and the formula is actually as good as the Rock Chic palette. And then the lights, the green lights palette, which is all shimmers. It's harder to compare because this is all shimmers, but out of them all, as much as I love those ones, this is my favorite. And I would have never thought that a rosy palette is going to be my favorite, but I think that the formula is amazing like the other ones. It's just the color story that you can use it more on a day-to-day basis. That's why probably I'm gravitating towards this one, and it's just beautiful. Now, is it worth $66? Of course, $66 is very expensive. I got this with a gift card that I got for my birthday or Christmas, so that's why I was able to pick this one up. Otherwise, I would have not spent $66 because of my budget. However, the formula, the color story, the packaging, it's very luxury, so that's why it's Charlotte Tilbury, so you should expect more of a higher price. I just love it. I'm happy I have it, and I was able to purchase it with a gift card. I'm not saying that you need this, but I think that doing this review for you, it kind of gives you an idea if it's worth it, how the color transfers on the eyes, how beautiful it just swatched on the arm. I think it's just lovely. I love it. I love the color story so much. So if you are into dusty rose shades, a little bit of a nice brown transition, some shimmers, and this palette is for you. It just matters on the budget. That's my only thing, because it's $66, you know. You definitely can find the shades in other palettes, but the formula, you can't. This formula is just amazing on this palette, so I definitely recommend it. But when it comes to formula, they are all good. The ones that I own and I have tried, I can say that the formula is amazing on all of them. I'm gonna link everything else down below, what I'm wearing on my face and lips, and if you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Love you guys. Bye.